Welcome to the world's fastest Tamiya sand scorcher, part 4. What do you mean part 4? We've not seen 1, 2 and 3. Well, that's because part 1, 2 and 3 were 7 years ago. And check out the production quality of my videos from 2017. Doesn't time fly, eh? I hope my videos are better than they were back then. Anyway, this is the sand scorcher we are using. And this isn't the scorcher from the original videos. This is a re-release. I think in my previous ones, I had about 3. And there was a mixture of like the vintage ones and some new parts on there from the I think it was a 2009 re-release. Anyway, this is one I picked up a little while ago and it only cost me £100. And I'm going to show you in a minute some of the cool features on it. What I am going to do is you can still buy these kits new, really nice kit. I'm going to buy a boxed kit just in case we need any spares, because on my last videos I had a couple of tumbles. So we might need a few spares, but just look at this thing. It's got an alloy bumper at the front, paired up with an alloy bumper at the rear. It's got all metal wheels, these just aren't covers. That is a full metal wheel there. It's got a pretty nice paint job. There's a few little scuffs and marks on it. We've got a driver in there. I like these little yellow tinted windows. We're keeping this body on. It's going to look exactly like this. I'm not doing any changes straight away, apart from obviously the electronics. Obviously the one that I did speed runs on before, it was a bit of a bitzer. It had bits of all different scorchers on it. The body had been trashed and re-glued. I tried a couple of different wheels on the back, but there's something on this that I think is really going to help with, well, trying to get this to be the world's fastest, which I think I want to say 42 mile an hour. I'm going to have to, I'll put it on the screen. I'll put it on the screen here. This is the unofficial speed. This is off the Tamiya forum. I'm sure it's 40 something mile an hour. I'll show you in a second what I'm talking about that I think is going to help this. But I think my best speed was 38. At the time I was using, I think it was like a Garmin GPS or something. I didn't have like a Sky RC proper GPS. So we got one that's a little bit more accurate. And the other thing that wasn't helping was I didn't really have much room to run it. It was a smallish car park. Whereas in this video, we're going to the beach because I think that's where we're going to have an advantage. Get this thing on some nice flat sand. I'm quite confident we're going to do well. Anyway, here's what I'm talking about. If I turn this wheel forward, look at what this wheel's doing. It's going backwards. You might think, yeah, it's just got a diff. And you'd be right, it has just got a diff. A stock sand scorcher doesn't have a diff. So if I was to turn that on a stock one, this wheel would also turn forward. Having a rear diff is going to help with our stability when we're at a higher speed. High-end speedrun cars quite often will lock the diffs, whereas being rear wheel drive, having a diff on the back is just going to help it if it starts getting a little bit wobbly, and it's going to hopefully stop it from, well, rolling or spinning out of control. Oh no! This has been on the shelf so long. Look at the dust on it, look. Let's give it a quick clean. There we go, that's better. Right, I've forgotten what electronics are in here. So the re-release ones are slightly different to the vintage. There's people out there who know a lot more than I do about them, but from what I remember, this is like a darker tinted colour. It's got a different coloured chassis. It's like a normal fiberglass colour. This is more like a, what you call it, FRP. The earlier ones have a cutout on the gearbox. So here you go. Actually, I could have just shown you this, couldn't I? That's a Ranger, but that's the early chassis. You see it's got a cutout on the back there, and slightly, you can't really see, but that's slightly tinted. It also has different shocks. These shocks are the re-release ones, but they're upside down. They work better. They don't leak as much upside down. Right, we have got, we've got a Traxxas connector. I'll get rid of that. Stock Tamiya electronics. What's that servo? I'm probably going to have to put a little bit more powerful servo in. And definitely we're not using the brush motor. We are going full beans with this. We're going for the Copperhead 10, the 7700 kV. This is my go-to make things fast combo. It's actually the same combo I've got in my BBX that I've yet to take to the beach. I'm not happy with the size of the front wheels. These are RC4 drive sand thrashers, and I really like the rear tyres. The fronts, though, for me, they're just too big. So that's why this is kind of stagnated, and the, you know, the BBX hype has kind of passed, but I do want to get this to the beach. Anyway, 7700 kV. One of the main problems is probably getting the motor in there because of the connectors you have to solder on, so I'm going to have to maybe, I don't want to chop too much of it. The re-release gearbox has actually got slightly more access in there for motors. If you try and get like a brushless or a modern motor in a original Sand Scorcher, quite often you have to take material off the inside to get the motor to actually go in. This definitely needs a bit of a strip down, a bit of a clean up, and then obviously throw some different electronics in it. The rest of it, I'm going to keep it stock. Well, that's a little bonus. It had a sport tune motor in it. I didn't realise that. I hadn't really looked at it being a black motor on there, but very nice. I wasn't going to strip all this down, but I thought we're putting a crazy motor in it. We're going for a silly speed. We need to at least check the gearbox to make sure there's bearings and grease in there and that there's no damage. Whoa. Yeah, we got bearings. This gearbox has been sealed as well. It's not a bad idea from going to the beach. I've never seen this diff either. Not sure which one it is. There was two types. I'm sure someone in the comments will tell me which this one is, if it's the actual Tamiya hop-up or if it's an aftermarket one, because there was an aftermarket one. But that is good news. We have got bearings. The gearbox isn't trashed. The first thing we need to do is try and get the motor fitted. This is definitely going to be the most tricky bit. So we need to get this done first. Getting the ESC in and the servo and all that is going to be relatively simple. I love these little motors. They're so good and they're super fast. 7700 kV running on a 2-cell LiPo is close to 60,000 RPM. I think these sport tunes are about 21, maybe 23, so it's like 3 times the speed. Then you recommend to run these on 2-cell, but we'll see how fast we get with the gearing in it. We'll talk about the gearing in a minute. But we're going to see how fast it is just 2-cell, or we might put a high voltage LiPo in it, so a little bit more punch on that gearing, and we'll see what happens. The other thing that the re-release ones have is they have the 2 notches on them. I think the original one just had 1 little notch for the motor, and there's also holes in there so you can actually screw them in. So there are some advantages to running a re-release if you want to put brushless motors in. So that's going to fit in there. Not sure, we're going to have to notch it, I think. We're quite far off on the front there, so got to make sure as well that when you put the motor in, obviously it lines up with the two. Lines up with like the 2 little locating dowels. I'm not going to screw this one in, but that's where it sits. So about there and there. This is where we find out I cut the wrong bit off. It won't be the first time I've messed something up that bad. Luckily, parts are still available for this. That is in there perfectly. It looks relatively neat as well. Obviously, I'm going to have to adapt this cover because I've cut one of the mounting points away, but we'll do that once we've got this all back together. I've just been hacking at the cover off camera to get it to fit over there, and realised obviously I need the sensor cable coming out as well. That's exactly how I felt when I was chopping this thing up. Ah! It's probably one of the neatest installs I've done. I mean, apart from the slight rough cut in there, it's actually gone in there really well. All the cables, I was worried about the sensor cable, but all the cables feed through the original hole in this. It's a waterproof voice to protect it from the elements. That's what that clip's on here. Actually, I think Tamiya were probably one of the first to make a full waterproof case. I know obviously Traxxas came in a little bit later and they patented the waterproof receiver box, but this is probably the very first in the late 70s where Tamiya gave you this and you could drive through, well, mud, water, sand, everything. So we need to now get this ESC mounted. I'm actually going to keep that servo. It's a Power HD servo, so it might be pretty good. No point changing it if I don't need to. And this thing's going to be on sand, so it's just going to be sliding around anyway. There's the Cobb head 10. It's quite a big ESC, but I think there's going to be space. And if need be, I'll just take the fan off, because if I'm doing a couple of runs up and down, probably not going to need that on, especially 2S. This will run up to 4. The motor's only rated to 2. And like I've said, we are going to run it 2, and if need be, we'll give it a little burst on 3. It'd be nice if we could have it just sat neatly there. I'm not going to bore you with a time lapse of me putting some 3M tape on that and plugging cables in. We'll come back when it's all plumbed in and almost ready to go. I just plugged it in, put a receiver on. I'm going to use this Dumbo RC one. And I thought I was going to have to set it all up, but we got steering. And we got throttle, so I think it's all dialed in already. We'll plug this into the Castle Link though, just to check the settings. Oh, not got my watch on. I'll check all the settings, make sure it's okay and stuff like that. But yeah, I just need to tidy it all up, put it back together, put the wheels on, and I think we're ready to go. I have been waiting a couple of weeks for a nice day like this. Beach is nice and empty, it is early. I've been coming here for years and I have never seen anything like this. It's got to be something to do with the tide, but it goes all the way up there. Now usually I run down here, but because of all this, if I can get across there, that's almost empty. You get a lot of dog walkers here. It's almost empty over there and it's super smooth, so I'm going to try and get across there. Right, just setting the steering up. This is going to be harder than I thought. I think I need to get up to speed and just, well, go for it, because it slides out so easily. Just trying to get it tracking straight, which it's pretty much there. Right. Oh, right, anyway, speed runs are fun. You have to overcome these problems sometimes, but we are ready to go. Oh, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, I can tell. It's got loads of space. Let's just see what we can do. Target 42, 43. Ah, no, come on. Don't do this to me. I don't want to take it on the road because I know I'll destroy it. Just gently ease that throttle in. No. Maybe softer sand is the answer, because that is just all over the place. It's making some nice patterns though. Oh no! Oh, I went too hard. I just punched it. What fell off? I think it might have been the sunroof. Yeah, just the sunroof. Yeah, we're good. We're still good. Should we see what that was anyway? I don't think it's anywhere near what we need. No, 35. It's better than I thought. Right, let's go over there. Full throttle. Full throttle. No, 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 no. I hate seeing them fly across like that. They just self-destruct. I did get full throttle for a little squirt though. Come on. Oh, 35 again. No way. Might have to gear up. Ah, what's happened? Oh, my servo's come out. Right, temporary repair. One of my steering links is bent as well. I'm going to give it a few squirts of full throttle every now and then as we're running it around here. Yeah, we'll see what we get. Oof. That was full throttle for a decent amount of time, but obviously ends with a barrel roll. Looks like we survived that one though. Oh, 38, I think that's matched. Does that match my current record? We have suffered a little bit of damage. We've lost a headlight and cracked the body. Let's go and have a little bit of fun in the sand with it. I might try one last 3S run in a minute, but oh, it's got so much power. So much power. Not quite sure on my steering, but this is why I love the SRBs from Tamiya. So much fun. That body's rattling around like crazy. He's probably knocked something else loose as well. Right, I just put a fresh battery in it. Still 2S, but it seems like it's got a lot more punch, even though it's not a high voltage like that last one. One last run. Famous last words. Does seem to run better across that way though, so. Slow, slow, slow. Oh, right up into the dunes. Yes, that was a nice one, right. Don't know if it looked faster. Oh, come on! Oh, man. Right, I'm not leaving this beach until we've tried at least one 3S run. Let's break that record, come on. Oh, my word. That is spicy. It will not go straight. Ooh. I knew it. Oh, body off. That means I've lost my body pin. Yeah, my servo's out. Oh no, body pin's still in there, which means only one thing. Yeah, we've destroyed the body. Oh, 39. Never give up on your dreams. I thought that was going to be the one. I was giving myself some positive vibes. Oof. Oh, just being silly now. I'm not sure that was anywhere near full. My daughter always says to me, try, try, try again. So that's what we're doing. This is the final try. What? 55? No way. No way. Unofficially, the world's fastest sand scorcher by quite some margin.
I am not an expert by any means on making an RC car go fast. I pretty much just like pouring gas on a fire and watching it burn.
It's what happens when you go for one last pass. Oh no. What was that anyway? Did we get faster? Although we crashed, but... Oh, 54. Well, there you go. The unofficial. Well, actually, I don't think there's any sand scorchers. I've definitely not seen any that have got over 50 mile an hour. 55. I wonder what part 5 will bring.